before we start, I want to hear who you are. You're like this pretty girl all over the internet. Tell me where you're from and how you got into this.
Yeah, so I'm from California originally. I moved to Florida in 2020 to kind of like really start my entrepreneurship journey because I always heard, moving out of your hometown will help you level up a lot faster. So I really took that seriously and I moved across the country, had no family, didn't know anybody out here in Florida, and I
No way.
basically like, restarted my life. And that really did actually help me level up and really step into the person that I wanted to be and really like embody the businesswoman that I was wanting to become. So that's where I'm from. And my journey started well, I was in online fitness coaching. So I've been in the online fitness space or online space since about 2017. I started posting my fitness journey on social media, started to get some traction, and I was doing my own bodybuilding journey at the time. So I was sharing all of my steps leading up to my show. And then people started reaching out to me like, Summer, hey, I want to look like you. I want to lose body fat. So I realized I could start making money by providing them a service. So that was really my first entry into entrepreneurship. So I did that for about 2 years. And then in 2020, I realized I was kind of capped and I didn't know too much about, any other business. So I tried a lot of things on the internet, like a lot of people have, right? They see all these ways to make money online. And that was me. I was trying sales, MLM, anything that you could think of. I tried it all. And then
Mm.
I found Amazon, but it wasn't really like a thing that I was looking to do. It was more something that fell into my lap because I was negatives in my bank account. And I just started reselling items from the dumpster in my apartment just to pay my bills because fitness coaching wasn't really working. I was making a little bit, but I needed to make more to live here in Florida. So I was like, how can I make money? I started like selling things around my house, and then I would go to the dumpster in my apartment, resell things. And
Time
then
out, time out, time. What do you mean? So first of all, how did you even figure out that you could resell them? Like you would put them on Facebook Marketplace or like what would you do originally?
So Facebook Marketplace, and there was something called Offer Up back then. I think
Okay.
they changed the name of that. But yeah, Facebook Marketplace and Offer Up. And I just listed a few items on there like couches, clothing, and within 24 hours, they all sold. And so that sparked my entrepreneur mind was like, wow, this is actually working. How can I do this at scale? And then I would see people moving out of my building and they would just get rid of really good condition items because it was a little like wealthier building. So people didn't want to deal with like having to, donate it or whatever. So they would just leave it at the dumpster. And I'm like, wow, I could take that, clean it up, make it look good, and resell it on Facebook Marketplace. So I did that for several months.
Hold on. Was your house filled with just random objects and like couches all over the place?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
It
how
was
would you clean it up? Just like spot clean it, or you would like change the upholstery?
Yeah, I would spot clean it, like clean it with like Clorox, anything that I could like basically clean it, depending on if there were stains or if it was just like to clean it to make sure it was germ free.
And were you selling these items for close to what you thought people were buying them for originally, or like it was pennies on the dollar?
It was a good amount. So I would sell like a dining set table for like $500. I would sell like a couch for a couple $100s, depending on the condition of the item.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you first, okay, so I get how you started into this, but how did you hear that there was like a bigger way to do this? How did you say, oh my God, wait, I can actually make some money and pay my rent this way?
Yeah, I had a friend who was selling on eBay and Amazon at the time, and she was like, "You should look into selling on Amazon." So I started looking into it, and I had, I think, about $800 at the time. I spent 500 of that on a course to teach me how to start selling on Amazon, and I basically went all in, and I
Wait, were
couldn't
you
do
scared?
absolutely. I was
I
scared out of
mean,
my.
you're eight, if 500 out of your 800, that's most of your bank account right there.
Yep. It was like I was so down in the trenches that I was like, well, this is gonna have to work. I'm gonna have to make this work because I'm not going back to a 9 to 5. It was not on my radar. I had no plan B. This was my
And
only plan.
and wait, had you ever worked a 9 to 5 before your online fitness stuff?
Yeah, I did. I was a barista. I did some different things. I worked at a smoothie shop,
Okay.
basic like 9 to 5
And you
jobs.
hated it.
Yeah, I hated it.
Yeah, I did too. I worked
They're,
at my first job, I worked at Domino's Pizza. It was
yeah,
terrible.
I feel like the food industry is a lot like where people kind of go for their first 9 to 5.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's
Okay, so tell people about selling on Amazon. What is that? Because I actually didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, so basically, Amazon has this really big business opportunity that anybody can sell on Amazon as a third-party seller. So basically, you're using Amazon's shopping platform, which there's millions and millions of users buying every single day. And the route that I do is I work with big brands like Nike, like Snow, like Maybelline New York, these big brands that people are already buying. I get wholesale accounts with them, or I find them at places like Target, TJ Maxx that I can get them at a low price. And I sell them on Amazon for the market price that it's listed at. And then I'm making that profit. So, whatever difference between the wholesale price and Amazon price, I'm making that profit.
Got it. Okay, so first of all, what is the most misunderstood thing about selling on Amazon or doing this kind of retail arbitrage thing?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think it's too competitive. It's too saturated. Like there's too many people doing it. That's probably one of the biggest misconceptions. But if you think about it, last year alone, Amazon did $658 billion in revenue. So there's so much money to be made there. And about 65% of the marketplace is third-party sellers.
Right.
And a
Okay.
lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that at all. First of all, how do you pick a product that you know someone is going to search for? Like if I went to TJ Maxx and I bought out their sales section of just a bunch of random sizes of sneakers, how do I know that that's ever going to sell?
So there's certain softwares like Seller Amp and Rev Seller that I use to determine how much this product has been selling. So there is like a 30-day data, 90-day data, 180-day data where you can see exactly how many times that product sold last month. So
Okay.
I'm looking for like over 500 sales per month because that tells me this product is in demand. And I want to see that it's consistently been selling at least 500 times per month. If I'm seeing
And
it's only
do you go on that product for do you go to that website or whatever first and say, let me look for these items and try and find them? Or you go into a store, find the discount, and then see if that sells? Like how which way do you go?
So how I started, I would just go to store and scan everything because I didn't know what was selling. But now since I've been doing it for almost 5 years, I kind of know what is selling. So now I get like the products that I think are going to be the best selling and I try to find them at a lower price just using my computer only. But initially, when I did start this journey, I had to go into stores, scan everything to get an idea of what I was even looking for because I had no idea about so many of these brands.
Okay, let's talk about the tips and tricks for beginners. First of all, do you need to have a lot of money to start this? Because it sounds like you have to output and buy a lot of things and then hope that they get bought.
Right. So I usually recommend about $500 to
Okay.
start off. The more you have, the better, right? Because you're able to scale a lot faster. But you don't need like thousands and thousands, like a lot of people say, especially if you're doing the retail arbitrage or online arbitrage route, because there's no minimum that you have to spend at Target, at TJ Maxx. So if you only have $300, you could just buy $300 worth of inventory, list that, and then once it sells out, you can reinvest your profit plus your initial investment.
Okay. And if somebody is listening to this, what are the top stores that you go into that you are looking for deals?
Yes. So Costco is a big one. Costco is pretty much like they even say they're like a Costco wholesale, right? So they have really good prices there. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ollie's is a good one. Ollie's Bargain Outlet. I think this is on the East Coast only, but there's a
Okay.
similar one on the West Coast called Grocery Outlet. Home Depot is a great one. Lowe's. So Target, Walmart, I mean, really you can find products at any retail store because the difference between like retail and Amazon is Amazon's a free market. So we don't have to price it the same price that Walmart and Target do. Because the retail stores, they have to do like the MSRP price. They have to be competitive to each other. Whereas Amazon, we don't because people will pay extra for it to be delivered tomorrow to their front door where they don't
I
have to
see.
go to stores.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's walk us through it. You were going into Costco or Target, whatever. How do you spot these deals? What are you doing?
Yeah, so first thing I'm looking for like big name brands that either I use or I know are being used, like Downy, Dish
But do
Soap,
we
right?
have to go into the sales section or you can find
No,
anything? Okay.
anywhere, right? I usually look for health and supplements. So anything like supplements, protein bars,
So those
you
sell
know,
well.
yes.
Okay.
And then beauty products too, diapers, baby products, things that people are going to need on a daily basis because they're always going to buy that and they're not going to only buy it once, but they're going to come back and buy it again. So
Okay.
these are, products that are consistently going to sell and you'll have multiple cup or the same customer come to you multiple times.
So let
So
me get this straight. You would go into Target and let's say you buy beauty, some beauty lotion, whatever. You buy
mhm.
diapers, you buy coffee, I don't know, whatever, the staple things that you pick. And then you have all this shit at your house and you wait to see if somebody's buying it.
If you're doing retail arbitrage, you could send them to Amazon yourself.
Oh,
So let's say you bought like 50 products, you would just pack them, might take like 45 minutes. And then once you send them to Amazon, you're hands off. So now Amazon is shipping them to the customer, they're holding the products, they're handling the returns, like they're handling the customer service. And all you did was put that like 30 to 45 minutes in and once to basically have Amazon do the rest of the work.
oh, no way. And then as soon as they sell it, they give you the difference.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
So do you prefer to ship it to Amazon and have them do the work, or how do you do it?
Yeah, so I mainly now I do Amazon FBA, so they fulfill pretty much everything. I also use prep centers now. So I have prep centers basically prep the items and then send them to Amazon for me, so I don't have to have those products at my house. But as a beginner, you could definitely do it yourself, especially if you have kids or a significant other that you could just like pack things pretty quickly. Do it yourself, save the money initially, and that way you will have even more profit to be able to reinvest into your business.
Okay, so what are the biggest like brands or industries or whatever that you're looking for? You said wellness. What else?
Yeah, so health and wellness, any type of supplements, right? Like greens, protein powders, protein bars, oatmeals, oat bars, cereals. I'm also looking for beauty products that aren't as competitive because like Clinique, the big brands that we know are gonna be pretty hard to sell because they're working with experienced sellers. So as a new seller, you want to look for maybe the smaller brands like Bubble or Snow or, Physician's Choice, something that not many people know about, but are still selling like thousands of times per month on Amazon.
But how do you know that you're getting it at a good enough price that Amazon's going to be able to sell it at a higher price?
Yeah, so you'll do that research before. Sometimes
Okay,
not every product's going to be profitable, right? Like you might only make a couple cents and that's not worth the time that you're putting into it.
sure.
So you'll have to be more specific on the products because you're not going to be able to sell everything because right, they might not be profitable. But if you do your research correctly, like you're going to be able to find some products from that specific brand that you could resell.
So when you first started doing this, again, like was your house filled with a bunch of shit and you were just like, "Oh my God?" Or right off the bat you were making money, you were sending these things to Amazon. I'm assuming there's some bigger products like that you're finding in the dumpster or big things of clothes or furniture that you can't just like ship to Amazon.
Right. A lot of this stuff in the beginning I was doing myself.
But
Yeah.
was it still selling or were you like, "Oh my God, I screwed myself. I have diapers all over my apartment."
No, most of them actually sold really well. And I was even more surprised because I was expecting to like sit on the products for a long time. But my first product was an oven and grill cleaner. And I had started selling in about like June. So it was a seasonal item and I didn't really realize that it wasn't intentional, but it started selling so fast. I could not even keep the product in stock enough to be able to like supply the demand for that product. So that was pretty cool. However, I've had experiences where I'm stuck with inventory that's not selling as quickly as I thought, but it still sells, within, maybe 4 months, the bad products that I choose, which to me is better than like the stock market because I'm still making, that 25, 30% return in 4 months versus like 8% in the whole year with the stock market. So I kind of look at it like that.